Pokemon Black and White. The end of a beautiful era of Pokemon. The scenery, the characters, the Pokemon. From start to finish, this game is a phenomenal ride. I want to say I have a heavy bias for this game, given it is one of the first Pokemon games I ever beat. But with that being said, it's also just a phenomenal game, and you can ask anybody about that. Where many people see cracks such as lack of original designs and a linear pathing, I've seen greater diversity with new Pokemon, an ambitious story, and stellar world building. It's under the peak of Pokemon 2D graphics, as many would love to go back to the style. While we all remain optimistic for Game Freak to attempt the strategy, I want to just reminisce on why this game is phenomenal, why it changed my life, and probably why the same reasons you think it's so special too. But first I want to say this video is a part of a series where I'm doing 12 days of gaming. I'm talking about every single game that affected my childhood, and there's a bunch of videos already out now, so just go check out the rest of those. The writing. Pokemon has a simple model on how they approach their games. You have your protagonists, rivals, gym leaders who serve as achievements, an evil team, and the Elite Four, who are considered like the final challenges. We have two rivals this time around, but they don't really have evil intentions or are unbearably annoying. You see what I did there? Bianca's a girl whose mission is just to find out who she really is. Her father is also a reoccurring character that tries to stop her from traveling, and there's an ongoing battle back and forth between those two. When those two interact with each other, there's a track that plays every single time that's really noticeable and also really tear-jerking. It's actually kind of sad. It's one of the most recognizable tracks in Pokemon history. And I think a lot of people use it for the YouTube videos as well. I can easily say this is by far the best female side character that exists, because her father lets her go finally, and she's able to become a Unova professor, which is also a bigger story plot in the sequel to this game. However, Sharon, who is the other rival, has a misunderstood story, one that I actually deeply admire. He's more like a traditional rival, as his goal is to become champion, much like you. However, slowly he realizes this is not the path he wants to take, especially when he talks to Alder. Being the greatest doesn't suit him, as it doesn't suit many, so he wants to take all of his knowledge and expose my expertise and teach people these new things. While he teaches these new things in the Pokemon Academy, the school he's part of, he also becomes a gym leader, which is also a bigger thing in Pokemon Black 2, White 2. When people talk about this game and how they dislike it, they say the same thing over again. This game is too linear. Listen, I just think it's a plain out lie. People are just coming up with excuses to hate on this game. Call me an optimist, call me in denial, call me whatever you want to do. This game is not linear, and Pokemon itself is pretty linear to begin with. Every region before this, except maybe Sinnoh, has a pretty linear and narrow routes you go through. And Kanto does have their routes where you can go for different places, but it really leads to the same place, and it really isn't all that expansive. Johto really doesn't have anything. Everyone goes the exact same route typically. Hoenn gets a little confusing, if we're being honest here. Sinnoh really gives you the opportunity to go back and forth throughout the whole entire region. The map also leans into why the story is so well. They actually bleed into each other very well. Because of such a linear map and such, you're able to really hone in on the story and really keep going and further. Because people who already got sucked in to begin with, you're really trying to see what's happening next. You don't really care about like the exploration. Sure, you can get new Pokemon along the way, but the story is the real big thing in Black and White. Pokemon isn't a game where you go there for the story. That's pretty obvious, let's be honest. There's only been 2 or 3 games where the story actually is really compelling, where it deserves to be like, hey, appreciated more. And the evil team really sets apart through any evil team through any of the generations. The evil team wasn't just meant to go for world destruction or looking for an immense power, at least at the beginning it wasn't. Their true morals was to have liberation of Pokemon, because in a simple turn, you really have just been capturing Pokemon and using them for your goods. Sure, they're friends, but a lot of people use them for war and using for competition. Team Plasma does a really good job of showing this. Maybe not the best way of going about it, but show a really good new side and shake up the morals of a young 10-year-old like myself. I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't a very good reader. I also just kind of mashed the A button. I was just trying to figure out how to get to the battles, but when I came back to the game a few years later, it all made sense and really made me feel a little more deeper and have more impact on me. And besides, I'm a kid who enjoys lore, so I didn't really have to go on the computer at the time or have any of those capabilities. I actually had the little guidebooks, so when I read these guidebooks of these games, it was so sick. Sure, some of the information may be wrong, but it was still really neat to have. My favorite part of the story is undoubtedly when Team Plasma takes over the Pokemon League. Imperfectly takes a stand over the champion Alder. Team Plasma overwhelms the Pokemon League and forces their army of grunts to take over the place. And when everything seems kind of one-sided, nearly every single gym leader comes out of nowhere to stop these guys. Like, they knew this was gonna happen. They were just like sitting around like, yep, like the FBI agents or something. This is the sickest thing that ever happened. I like the Pokemon adaptation of the anime for this, like the little side story they had. That was sick as hell too. Seeing every single gym leader come. It's canon, man. No other region has done this, and I don't think anything ever is gonna happen like this because it's such a big surprise. And I think someone could predict it at this point. It's one of my favorite moments of this game, and I have many other favorite moments, like some of my favorite places in the region. The Korean City is a really nice place that is the home of many storehouses built over hundreds of years ago. They have a nice view over the city, and also it's nicknamed the City of Art. They have a museum where many people go to relax, paint, study, do what they have to. And one of the coolest places that actually really hones in on modern America is the forgotten railroad systems that we used to have. We used to use these boys back all the time, you know? It was our thing. But now it's just more of a sweet rustic feel. I see this all the time in Indiana. I don't know. The Sky Arrow Bridge, the longest bridge within the game, and also a beautiful view of Castelia. If this place is real, you would imagine people taking graduation pictures, have live music, late night dates, and I guess Pokemon battles too. Yeah, those happen too. Nimbasa City. Aside from Elisa being one of the finest gym leaders to ever exist, this place represented the competitive aspect of entertainment in America. You have these big attractions like the Ferris wheel and the amusement park there. A big sports attraction within the back of the end of the city, really honing in on football, soccer, basketball, the things that Americans love. And also reality TV, runways, fashion. At least there's a great representation of that as well. This city is known as the entertainment city, and it shows it very well what we encompass as the US. Dragon Spiral Tower is one of the coolest places, as well as one of the most memorable musics in the game, and honestly is the coolest place because you get to actually meet the legendaries there. Imagine going to this huge castle spiraling upwards just to hear the roars of a dragon. You get up there and then bam! Such a phenomenal moment of this game. Now, I've said a lot of my favorite places, but I also have a lot of favorite Pokemon. Excadrill is one of my favorite Pokemon. I love steel types. I've always loved steel types, and Excadrill being this little cute little mole. Yo, at my house we had a lot of moles back then, and I was just like, you know, we can't kill the moles because I love Excadrill. The little cutie this guy is Amoonguss. Amoonguss is a little, a mushroom, but if you can play competitive Pokemon, you know this guy's annoying. But he's just so cute if you could just like take that part out of him being so good. He's just so cute. He's just so cute. My boy Bisharp. Bisharp is one of the coolest Pokemon that ever exists. Everyone was like dark screens and blackout and stuff like that. Yeah, I know you're a fan of Bisharp. Volcarona. I thought Volcarona was a legendary Pokemon. I swore that Volcarona was a legendary Pokemon. It was set up much like how Garchomp was, or even Volcarona was maybe even a pseudo-legendary. But no, just inside the Relic Castle, deep down there, and this bro is I remember trying catching him. I remember crossing my fingers and be like, oh, he's gotta be there. He's gonna be so cool. And pretty much like every single legendary of this game. All the Sword of Justice, the Genies, the Box Legendaries Reshiram and Zekrom. Kyurem was pretty sick too. But the important thing is, a lot of these designs people just kind of hate on for no reason. A lot of designs are just pretty great, especially like ones that, I don't know, Watchog. I like Watchog. I don't care what you say, I like Watchog. He's pretty cool. I think of every single positive thing this region has done, and I can't see why all the negatives could outweigh so many people's opinion, even back in the day when people were just like, oh, this game sucks, and people hated on this game. And I think for that reason alone, Pokemon changed for the worse. Like, Pokemon stopped doing a lot of ambitious things, and the next time they did something ambitious was Sun and Moon. And when they did that, that was universally hated as well. Sun and Moon is much more loved today, but still, I'm not defending Pokemon Company and Game Freak of their laziness, because they've done a lot of lazy things recently, especially with Scarlet and Violet, even though I thoroughly enjoyed those games. But I feel like a vocal minority does hate on the wrong things. And when that does, Pokemon for some reason hears it, and we start getting games that are either easier, simpler, or outright just bad. It's pretty easily this is the best 2D game of all the Pokemon games. With the autumn, winter, fall, summer themes in this game, it make every single environment just look way better. Even on the east side of the Unova region, Undella Town has its own version of a winter and a summer, and it just feels so calming to be there too. Well, I mean, until you run into the Cynthia, that always sucks. I love Black and White. I wish you can go back in time. But hey, if you want to go back in time and watch some more of these videos, go ahead too. Amazing games, amazing games.